Alright, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Y'all let me know in the comment section if you guys can hear me well or not. Let me know how the audio is, and we'll get started here in just a second. What's going on? Alright, and as always, make sure you guys share this live with at least 2 people. Send this to at least 2 people that are trying to learn about the stock market. Make sure you follow. Everything will be in the description. The free Discord, everything's gonna be in the description by the end of this live. Okay, so you know how we do every Sunday. We talk about the stock market, what's going on. We'll take a look at charts. I answer questions. So whatever questions you have, make sure you drop that below. All right. So I trade using the most simple trading concepts. So things such as chart patterns, levels, trend lines. The most basic things that you can use is what I actually use. Okay, and that's what I teach. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started for this week. All right. As always, we start on the charts. All right, and you want to start looking at SPY because SPY is kind of like the overall market. Okay, so SPY is the S&P 500, and it holds the top 500 stocks in the market. Okay, so I always take a look at SPY. A lot of times when people say quote unquote the market, they'll be talking about SPY. All right. So when we look at SPY here, one thing that you do notice, shout out to you guys last week if you was able to take advantage of SPY rejecting at this 270 here. Okay, so it did reject it 2 or 3 times last week. So congrats if you was able to take those rejections that we was talking about. As of right now, I see that SPY is look like it's trying to break down from a bear flag, but I'm not gonna lie, SPY is having a tough time trying to break below that 560. Right, it's having a tough time trying to break below 560. It actually is holding very, very well. Okay, so for me, SPY has to get above 571, or it needs to break below 560. It needs to hold below 560 because if it doesn't, we're just gonna get more choppy action. And it's okay now. But, we've been down for a minute here. All right, so we've been down for a minute. This fall on SPY it isn't like a normal fall, right? So we've been falling, but it's like been choppy on the fall. And now we've kind of been stagnant a little bit. But we're still under the 200 MA. It has tried to start finding some type of support around this area, 550s, 560s, but still, it still remains. If we start breaking below, we still have this room down here to this support at 540, right? Especially if we get below 550. We start getting below 550, look for 540, all right? But as of right now, you're still just chopping around. You need to break 571 or you need to break 560. One of the two. Probably won't get super good movement until we break one of those. Okay? And I imagine QQQ is going to look somewhat the same. Right? Yep. Same thing with QQQ. So we're kind of in the same spot as last week. We haven't done much. All right? We're still consolidating under the 200 MA. All right? QQQ has not retested the 200 yet. Okay? So that could be a case for the market to have a little pop. Is for a SPY to come up there. I'm sorry, QQQ to come up there and retest the 200. It look like the 200 is around 488. All right, so if we do pop, expect to kind of go to 488 and to probably get smacked back down again. It'll probably take a few tries to break that. All right, so this week I do have a few plays that I really, really like. All right, and last week I was kind of looking more so at bearish plays, and I still have some bearish plays for you guys. But I do want to give you some plays that I actually like to the upside this week. And number one, we're going back to PLTR. We're going back to PLTR, right? So PLTR is very, very interesting. I'm going to take off a couple things here. I'm going to show you guys PLTR. This is a chart pattern. This is a chart pattern that I love right here. Okay, so on PLTR, You have a shoulder, head. It kind of looks like another shoulder right here, right? So it didn't form all the way, but still kind of looks like a shoulder right there. And then you have this. I should have used a straight line. We can use a straight line. If anybody knows what this pattern is called right here, make sure you drop it in the comments. Anybody know what this pattern is called? And I'll take this trend line off. But it has held the trend line and it's forming this type of pattern on the trend line. Does anybody know what this pattern is called? This is a very, very, very bullish pattern right here. Anybody know what this is called? Inverse head and shoulders. Yep. Shout out to Daryl, man. Shout out to Daryl. Yep. So this is a inverse head and shoulders pattern. So an inverse head and shoulders is a bullish pattern. Bullish means that the stock is more than likely to go up. Because all that I'm teaching you to do is to use chart patterns and to use the most basic concepts to give you probability. Okay. So this pattern says that there is a higher probability that PLTR will go up than to go down, right? Does that mean it still can't get rejected? Of course it can still get rejected. A lot of things have been getting rejected. But this pattern says, hey, this stock can at least have a pop, all right? So now we see the pattern. Your next job is to find out, okay, where can the move really, really happen, all right? So for one, you did have this line of resistance here in the form of a trend line, another basic trading concept. All right, you did have a resistance in the form of this trend line that it broke on Friday. Okay, so you can look for two things. Okay, this is play number one for this week. Look for two things. Number one, if I can find the path, there we go. Number one, look for this to come back down and retest around 85 and to possibly take it back up. Okay, the retest will be around 85, or you're just going to simply look for continuation. Okay, you're going to simply look for continuation. All right, so your next levels here, your next level at this point would be 93. So you have room to 93.64. All right, so 93.6, 93.5 area, you have room up there. If we get above 93.6, we then have room to possibly come up around 100. Okay, so we could have a explosive up move on PLTR if this chart pattern plays out. All right, so let's talk about this one more time. This is a inverse head and shoulders type of pattern. Okay, this means that it is bullish. The opposite of this pattern is a head and shoulders, and I'll show you guys an example of a head and shoulders pattern right after this to actually play it out that we're talking about. Okay, so the game plan is to either look for a possible dip buy at 85. This 85 area would retest this trend line, or if it continues to break out, you want to see 93.64, and above that point, you got room all the way up to 100. So here's the trick. Here's the trick about day trading and trading in general when you're trading options that people don't tell you. You're trading calls and puts, okay? You need room for the stock to run or fall for you to make money, right? So we need room from where it is now. We don't know where it's going to open at tomorrow. But let's say it opens at 93 tomorrow. Okay, so you know you have room up to 93.64. Cool. Maybe you don't want to ride it up from 93 to 93.64. It's about 60 cents, but you can still make money off of that. But the next big move would be from 93.64 to 100.34. So here's the trick. The trick is you ask yourself, okay, is this enough money for me to make a profit on this stock? Okay, so 93, and this is just a rough estimate here, to this 100 area, that's at least $6. So ask yourself, is $6 enough for you to make a profit on Palantir? Okay, and I hope you're saying yes, $6 is enough for you to make money on almost everything. almost. Especially if you have a larger account, that is plenty. Okay, so Palantir is one that I really, 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 really like for upside this next week here. Palantir is my favorite upside play. Inverse head and shoulders pattern broke this resistance, and it actually has been holding. This inverse head and shoulders pattern is forming at that trend line that we drew weeks ago. Okay, so we've been on Palantir's head the past month or so. Okay, so Palantir number one. Let's see what else we got. We also have Nvidia. Now, I'm looking at it now. Now I'm kind of looking at Nvidia. I'm gonna clear the chart here. Is Nvidia trying to form like a triangle pattern here? Nvidia could be trying to form a triangle pattern. All right. So what I'm seeing here now, triangle patterns are what you call neutral patterns. That means that it can break either direction. All right. Who knew that you could be seeing shapes and learn how to make money just from seeing shapes, right? But when you see this right here, a run up, and then you see that the stock look like it's doing nothing, it's going sideways, it's actually forming a pattern called a pennant or a triangle pattern. And what that basically means is that there is indecision on what the stock price should actually be. Okay, so you have the bears that keep sending this thing down. Right here, you see this line acts as a resistance, this bottom line acts as a support. So we don't know who's gonna win, the buyers or the sellers, because they're fighting right now. Okay, so if it starts breaking to the upside, the buyers may begin to win. Break downside, the sellers may begin to win. But the question is again, at what point can the move really happen? Okay, so this move can really get going if we happen to get above 120.5 around this area, because at this point you'd be breaking the pennant and you'd be breaking these little local highs around here. Okay, so if we can get above 120.5, that would be really, really good on Nvidia. And now as far as downside, it looks like we started to get below 114, about 114.5. We start to get below there, we could start to fall down. But if you've been trading lately, the past month or so, you know that things have been kind of coming down, but they've been coming down in a way that's very, it's very weird. Like, it might come down hard for 5 minutes, but then it may pop up $2-3 and then come back down. Like, it's been super crazy trying to catch down moves, right? The best thing to do lately has been buying puts at resistance, calls at support, right? But we do have some stocks sitting up on some breakout plays, so we'll see. We will see. Another play that's interesting is Apple. So I actually sent out Apple on Friday as a free play to possibly look at puts, but we never did get the entry on it because it never got below 210. So and luckily it didn't, because Apple just put in a crazy bullish candle. One thing you could possibly watch out for is Apple to maybe have continued strength. Look at this candle on Apple. This is a bullish engulfing. I'll clear this out for you. And this is kind of what you've been seeing lately, because if you look here, this is definitely a bear flag pattern on Apple that formed coming into Friday. So it formed a bear flag pattern, and it just said screw the bear flag and just gave you a bullish engulfing right here, right? So that's kind of a lot of the type of things that you've been seeing lately. And it has a lot of volume. So at this point, if Apple is going to reverse, Apple needs to get above, looks like it just needs to get above Friday's high. So get above like 219. Apple could try to push some upside. Oof. I don't know. Looking at it now, that possibly could reject. It would definitely be retesting some very nice areas up in here around 219. So yeah, definitely watch 219 on Apple. 219 is the spot to watch for Apple. Kind of see what it does there. If it starts holding above 219, yeah, it's gonna push back up. It's gonna push back into 220s for sure. But if it rejects, you might see more chop on Apple. So We'll see. 219 is the area to watch for on Apple for sure. Let's see. Boeing. Boeing has been going up, had a positive news catalyst. Tesla. So Tesla is very, very interesting. Okay. Tesla seems to be trying to find some type of support down here. So it fell all the way down here to this previous support around 214, and has been holding a little bit. Kind of formed a little bit of a triangle pattern, and this is why you say triangle patterns are neutral. You take a look here. This formed a triangle, but it's trying to break the upside. Now, the real upside value for Tesla is going to be above 250. Okay, so if it starts to hold above 250, Tesla's probably going to go back and retest 270. All right. Now, that's going to be the real test for Tesla. Okay. So Tesla, if it holds 250, I expect it to possibly trend upward to 270. That doesn't mean it's going to come today or tomorrow. Right. But it could possibly come. But look at 270 here. Right. So 270 was a resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. Right. So this was a resistance dating back all the way to 2023. Right. So what you got to understand about charting is all you're doing is using data from the past to determine what might happen in the future. All right. So once again, when you're using levels, you're saying, okay, if it rejects, it can come down. But if it holds above the level, you could possibly see a push back up. Okay. So this being a previous key level for Tesla, although it happened back in 2023 and 2024, it doesn't matter. It's still a key level. Okay. So when it gets up here, that's when you kind of got to start seeing, okay, what's going to happen. But from where it is right now, we just really need to get above and hold above 250. And above that, 250 to 252 area. Above that, we'll definitely probably get some more upside on Tesla. All right. That makes my account very happy to see that. Because, man, it took a hit on my Tesla shares on this drop. All right. So what else we got? Still, number one play that I love the most is Palantir by far. Palantir's number one play. Here's a play that I'm going to give you guys that I actually wasn't going to, but I'll do it anyway. All right. I was going to save this play exclusively for my group, but I'll give it to everybody because why not? Everybody can eat on it. Okay. So Google, let me put this back on there. Oh man, I might not be able to. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, Google. What I want you to see on Google is this right here. Some of you may already know the setup. You know, guys know this is my favorite setup as far as swings. Okay, Google has a bullish engulfing pattern. Okay. So Google, its stock price is making lower lows. The RSI, I'll make it a little bigger. The RSI is making higher lows. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that the stock is 9 times out of 10 going to pop. I would say 9.5 times out of 10 is going to pop. All right. Now, what else does it have? Now, this is the thing. When you're talking about using the basic principles like I teach, and I do, the more that you can put together, the higher probability that the trade is. When you're trading options, all you're doing is betting based on probability. Okay? We're saying that one thing is more probable to happen than the other. All right? So when you look at Google, number one, see that I have this D right here, and this stands for daily. If you look on the daily chart right here, we don't have to go back very far to see that this area was a previous support, right? So we got support all up in here around this 162 area. Okay, so it's trying to hold this and put a very nice bottom wick candle right here. So it's been holding this and it has bullish divergence. Okay, so now your question is going to be, all right, how far can this thing go? Well, number one, this stock has a gap to fill that goes up to, let's see. Has a gap to fill that goes up to above 172. All right, and the next like daily level is at 176. So honestly, something that you could see Google just absolutely rip for a few days, and it could just rip. All right, let's just say it could just rip. And I'm gonna show you an example of that right after this. But when I'm looking back here, the last time that Google had bullish divergence, this was not bullish divergence right here. It's not bullish divergence because it had a lower low on both the RSI and the stock, right? So that wouldn't be bullish divergence. I don't think when I was studying the chart a while ago, I don't think I seen Google have bullish divergence on a daily. Not with the RSI being as low as it is right now. So you have some here. Now this is back in 2022. So the last time that this stock has had bullish divergence was 3 years ago. All right, this is the last time that you had bullish divergence on Google, and this is what happened: a slingshot. Okay, so last time it had bullish divergence, it popped up all the way up to almost 100. So this thing popped up $17 the last time that we had bullish divergence on Google. Okay, and if you don't see it, here it is right here: stop price lower lows, RSI higher lows. All right, Google is my favorite swing play. As far as a day trade, is Palantir. Google is my favorite swing. I'm telling you, Google is gonna pop. All right, Google is going to pop. I'm warning you now. Okay, all right. So it hasn't had bullish divergence in 3 years. I don't know when you're gonna get another chance at it again, but yeah, Google's gonna pop, y'all. I'm just warning you now. All right, let's see what else we got. Meta. Meta is one that I still feel like could go either way. So Meta, I would kind of just keep some alerts on this thing. If it happens to get get below 575, it's gonna be lights out all the way down to 450. 550. All right, so a $25 drop is gonna come on Meta if we get below 575, but it has been holding down here very, very well. So watch Meta. It's still like 20 some dollars away, but honestly, that's nothing for Meta. Okay, so I would just put some alerts on below 575 just in case, and if it does get below that and hold below, you get in some puts to close your phone. All right, what else? What else did I like here? Kind of watching DAL. Kind of just looks the same as all the other bear flags. Kind of just push back up here. Anything else that I liked? I don't think it was anything else that I really liked. I think it was those few plays right there. So we don't got a super long watch list today. Let's take a look. And if any of you say, okay, well, how do I know that bullish divergence works, RJ? I don't trust what you say. Let's take a look at the last time that we were talking about bullish divergence. All right, what stock is it? Does this look similar? This is XYZ. It looks very similar, right? Only difference is the RSI on Google isn't as low as this, right? So I don't think Google RSI would get this low. Probably have to be something catastrophic for Google RSI to get down to 16. But we got the same type of setup, right? Bullish divergence at a key level of support. You can see that key level of support right there. And if you guys would have took that play, yeah, you see a very nice pop right there, $7 move, okay? So that's your example of bullish divergence. And I have plenty more if you guys look on my page. All right, so make sure you look at Google. Let's go over the plays one more time for anybody that missed it. Number one play, I gave out 3 plays that I like. If I had to rank them, we'll rank it: Palantir number 1, Google number 2, and Tesla number 3. All right, so Palantir number 1 watch as far as a day trade this week. This is a inverse head and shoulders type of pattern trying to form right here. Well, it has already formed, but trying to break out. Okay, inverse head and shoulders trying to break out right here. Shoulder, shoulder, inverse head. All right, you got the trend line that has been holding down right here. If it breaks above 93.64, has room to 100, right? So you still have room to 93.64, but if it breaks above that, it's probably going to pop very hard. Okay. Second play that we talked about was Tesla. All right. So Tesla looks great. All right. So um, bullish on Tesla for me right now. All right. So it has a pennant pattern above 251. You have room up to 270. All right. So you got a lot of room to go on Tesla if we can hold above 251, 252 area. Okay. All right. So Google, what's the other play? Google has bullish divergence. All right, so you see here, bullish divergence, stock price lower lows, RSI higher lows, and Google fell down to a support. And to show you how strong this support was, look at this candle on Google, right? So crazy bullish candle right there on Google, okay? Brad mentioned AMD. AMD does look pretty decent too. I'm interested to see what they do from here. So as far as AMD is going to be pretty simple. For more upside, you need to break 108, right? So you need to break and hold 108 for AMD to get more upside, in my opinion here. Try to move it. So if you want to be specific, we need to break and hold 108.30. All right, above 108.30 for AMD, we still have room for more upside, probably even come up here around 115. All right, so AMD has a lot of room above 108.30. I would add that to the list too. That looks pretty decent too. All right, I actually traded AMD a couple days ago, and I lost on it. I was green on like 8%, and I didn't take the profit because I thought it would keep going, and it ended up losing. So, end up losing on that one, but it's all good. Small losses, big wins. That's the name of the game. All right. So that's what I got for this week, man. At this time, man, if you guys got any questions, drop some questions. If you guys are new to trading, I'm telling you, the charts look hard. It looks hard, but I promise you, if you learn this and when you learn this, trading will change your life. I promise you. Trading will change your life, all right? And also, do not neglect that this is a great time to get shares on certain companies, right? So something like AMD, although you missed this down here, it's not a whole lot. AMD is still down a lot from the highs, okay? You got stocks like NVIDIA still down a little bit from the highs. Not as much, but still down a bit from the highs. You got something like CrowdStrike, who they have rebounded quite a bit, but still quite a bit off from the highs, all right? So you got a lot of stocks that has kind of fallen. Even JPM, one that we was kind of talking about just a little bit, had gave you a little pop down here too. So looks very, very nice. How can you learn this? That's a great question. The best way to learn is, I would say, you have to get with. There's two options, all right? The first option is you can take the long way, like I did. You take the long way, you go down a rabbit hole of learning everything, trying out everything until you finally find something that works for you. Or you can find a few people or a one person that has already done this and can put you on a path to succeed, right? So what I kind of do is I use very basic principles. I use the easiest principles that you can find, right? I use the easiest principles to teach you how to use probability in your favor to make money, okay? So I use the very basic principles I have. If you want to look on my page, you can literally probably learn. You can learn everything I do for free. I'm not going to lie to you. You can learn everything I do complete for free. You go to my page and look for the options, the pillars of options trading. I have 4 classes, and 4 of those classes, all those videos are from my real mentorship classes, okay? So if you watch those videos, follow my Instagram, ask questions. I have over 700 posts on Instagram. I guarantee you, there's no way that you can't learn for free. All right. Now, if you want to take a step further and you want to, invest yourself more, you could join my community if you want to, but you don't have to. I have a lot of stuff for free. I don't try to force anybody to do anything. It's a lot of money in the market for everybody to eat. All right. So you got 2 routes there. You got 2 routes. Either one is fine. There's plenty of free content. Now, the only thing I would say about free things is you will go down the rabbit hole, right? So you're going to see so many different styles. You'll see people using EMAs, Bollinger Bands, Fibonacci. You'll be like, well, what works and what doesn't? All right, so you just have to find out what you like, right? So you may not trade the same way that I trade, but I guarantee you, the basic principles that I teach you, you're gonna use no matter what. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. What would be a good call option for Google? April the 4th? I'm not gonna lie. For Google, something like that, I probably would want to put some time on that. Let me see when is the next. Let me see when the next earnings date is. The earnings can't be too far away. Let's see. The market is up a little bit from what I'm seeing. Yeah, the market is up a little bit. Anyway, Google, next earning date for Google is April 24th. So honestly, I would say May 2nd. May 2nd could be good. June 20th would be even better. The further, the better. That's what I would say. The further you can go out, the better. That's what I would tell you. Okay. You want to give it time. Swings. This is something that's going to pop. All right. I'm telling you, it's going to pop. You just don't know when. Right. The best way you can kind of guesstimate is using these candles. Okay. So a candle like this makes me feel like the move is near. When it's having candles like these right here, I kind of like, maybe it's not ready yet. But when it starts putting in these big bullish type candles like this and these full body candles, I'm like, okay, we might be getting somewhere. All right. So I think the longer you can go out on it, the better. Not financial advice, but that's what I'm gonna be doing. So, yep. Hope that helps a little bit. The more time you can put on swings, the better. Always. The more time, the better. All right. But once again, guys, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. You can join the free Discord if you want to. I'm gonna link that in the description right after this is over. I'm also gonna put the link to my Instagram. You can follow for free. I have over 700 posts of free trading content. Right. So I have everything that I have here. Everything is in a video. Every concept I talked about, I got a video about it. I have multiple videos about everything that I talked about. So make sure that you tap in. Let's see. Say what about CRM? Let's see what CRM looks like. CRM. And y'all excuse me, I'm coming down got a little cold or something. CRM looks like it had fallen down around a support. Right, fell down right, very, very close to a support down at 269. It would have been great to kind of grab it down there. At this point, it's kind of consolidating a little bit. You have to break above 283 again, right? So you need to break above 283 again to see some more upside. Other than that, if you start breaking down, you're going to probably run into that support again where you'll probably bounce. Hood had a beer flat pattern but ended up pushing upward. In my opinion, Hood probably looks like it's going to go through a very big consolidation period. This is what I'm seeing personally. Okay, just from experience, when things usually start doing this, it's going to probably consolidate for quite a bit. It'll probably consolidate for quite a bit. All right, Sophie is one that I actually like. I do like Sophie. Now Sophie on the weekly chart, this was a great buy last week. I missed it though. I didn't see this until like Thursday. Sophie had a bullish hammer on the weekly at the 200 for the weekly. That's an A+ setup, man. I definitely missed that. JPM, the move has already happened on JPM. As far as I'm concerned, you would have to kind of catch it on another dip. The best play for JPM would have been to catch it down there at that support and at the 200, right? So kind of just got to move on from that one. Move has already happened. You say IPM. I don't know if you might did a typo. Probably was a typo. Yeah, it had to be a typo. Yeah. So that's what we got, man. You guys make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if this was helpful to you in any way at all. That's all I ask is you just like and subscribe, man. Share this with someone. This will be replayable after this is over. So if you came a little late, don't worry. All you gotta do is click the replay. If you join my private, or you join the free Discord, I'll put a link to it in the free game tab. All right. So everybody trade safe. Remember the plays that we like this week are Palantir. I like Google, and I kind of like Tesla. All right. So keep those three on watch. If you're a smaller account, maybe look at Google. Palantir, you can still look at your small account. Do not play Tesla if you're a small account. Do not do that. All right. Let me say this one thing too before I leave. If you are working with a small account, the most important thing that you do is take your money and go. Okay. So if you work with a small account, the way that I've been able to grow. So last year, I started a small account. Was it like January? No, it was like February or March. I started a small account with 1,000, right? And I really didn't take it serious until about when things really started popping off, like September, when things really started popping off. I was able to grow that small account to almost 5,000 before I took a lot of profit out of it. So you can definitely make money with a small account, right? You just got to be very particular, right? The quickest way to make money with a small account is day trading, but you got to know what you're doing, right? So always learn over earn. The money's gonna always be there. The stock market's gonna always be there. You got to learn how to get it first, all right? Once you learn how to get it, you can apply it, all right? And don't think, this is another nugget. Don't think that just because you have a small account, your problem is going to be solved by more money. You're just going to have more losses and you're going to lose more money. If you can't turn 1,000 into 1,500 or 1,000 into 2,000, you won't be able to turn 50,000 into 75,000 or even 5,000 to 10,000. I promise you won't. Good luck trying. All right. So make sure you are constantly learning. You should be studying all the time. I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I still study this stuff every single day. There's not a day that I don't look at these charts and study. All right. So, you guys trade safe. Let me know if you liked it, man. Y'all tag me on Instagram if you find this helpful at all. I appreciate y'all for hopping on. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, y'all.